Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to this session. In this section, we focus on how to architect firewalls to effectively segregate the network, segregate the process control network from the corporate network. Okay. So on one side, we have the corporate network. And on the other side, we have the process control network. So we will see how we can segregate between these two networks. So this segregation is actually the key practice in industrial environments. And why we do this, it is mainly to protect our critical assets, right? And there are two typical in what you call the architectures used. One is the two-zone design. In the two-zone design, what we do is we place a firewall, place a firewall between between the control and enterprise networks. Okay, so this is simple, but this is also limited. And then we have the second option about the three-zone design, and this introduces the DMZ. DMZ. The first one is without DMZ. Okay, the second one is with DMZ, or this DMZ is basically demilitarized arise zone. Okay, so and this basically works as buffer buffer zone or buffer layer. Okay, and the benefit is this enhances the this method. It enhances inspection, and also it minimizes the risk from corporate side breaches. Okay, so let's move and we will discuss now. So this is the most basic form of network segregation, using a single firewall between the corporate network, and we have the corporate network here, and we have the control network. So as in this diagram, a two-port firewall is placed. This is a two-port firewall, and this firewall is placed between the two networks. So this is our network, and this is also our network, another network, control network, and the corporate network. And this one is the simplest and effective. Okay, simplest and quite effective. Okay, and what it is offering, it is this is the most. Now on the other side, if we see in the market some of the like modern, what others are available in the market. So in other places, in the modern firewalls, they mainly offer two main functions. The number one is the stateful inspection, which means that they track the state of TCP connection. Okay, and the second is their the application proxy, and the second point is their application proxy services that can handle the services like FTP, HTTP, and STM. So in the first, the new firewalls, they actually offer two things: stateful inspection, in which they know and inspect the state of your TCP packets, they track them, and the second is application proxy services, through which they are able to handle the internet protocols like FTP, HTTP, and SMTP. So these capabilities actually help to filter and manage the traffic more intelligently. So having these options, what we had is we add the what you call intelligence. They actually filter, and they intelligently do two things. Number one, they filter intelligently, as well as they overall manage the traffic, but in view of like intelligence. Okay, so if this firewall is well configured, it can be significantly reduce the risk of successful external attacks on our control network by allowing only it is simple and effective. So if we make a proper configuration of this method, so this will be good enough for monitoring the communication between the networks. Then, but there is some critical issue when we use a single firewall in this one. We, and the point is, this is the question here for this, that where do we place the shared servers? So in many cases, servers like the data, for example, like the data historian here, or OPC servers are shared between the corporate and control networks. So the data servers are basically shared between. But if a server is placed in the corporate network, then we must define the firewall specification, firewall specific rules to allow the necessary communication, like we do in the OPC or historian traffic, to pass through the secure to pass through securely to the control devices. So even with a simple firewall setup, we need to carefully plan which traffic is allowed and ensure it's controlled and secure. Okay. So this is the crucial thing when it comes to the shared servers. Okay. Next, we will explore what is a demilitarized zone. What is the concept of this? DMZ in short. Basically, this DMZ, demilitarized zone, is basically a special network area, and that area works like a sort of a neutral zone, and it does not belong fully to either, and it does not belong fully to either corporate or control network. Okay, and it's a safe place. It's like a safe place, safe space to share devices or applications. This is a very interesting concept. Applications or applications. So to create a DMZ, we usually need a firewall. So to create DMZ, we need a firewall with three or more interfaces. We will shortly see why. So one interface will connect to the corporate network, and another interface will connect to the control network, and the rest will go to the shared resources like servers or gateways. Okay, so this setup. So if we have firewall, so it will have more than at least three. One interface will go to the uh, corporate network. The other interface will go to the control network, and the third interfaces or more interfaces will go to the shared devices or resources. Okay. So this setup allows us to safely manage access without directly exposing the control setup. So in short, what you can say that this setup allows us to safely manage manage access without directly exposing the control systems. Okay. I apologize again because when I'm writing it, sometimes it's hanging. I don't know why. Okay, so now let's look at how a firewall can work together with DMZ. Now here we have this DMZ area to improve the network security. So when shared devices like Historian, this is shared device, for example, we can call it a device like Historian. They are placed in the demilitarized zone. They're placed in the demilitarized zones. We can put more things here. So we avoid the direct communication between the corporate network and the control network. And that's a big security advantage. More modern firewalls can support multiple DMZs. We can have multiple uh, multiple DMZs, and we will see why. And they are configured with the specific rules. Multiple DMZs specific with specific rules to allow or block for different zones. Okay, for different zones. Okay, because every zone may have a different traffic or requirements. So importantly, the firewall blocks random packets from the corporate side from reaching the control network and carefully regulates the traffic between the zones. Okay, so this is the firewall with DMZ, and in this setup we have enhanced the demilitarized zone. This one. Um, the one firewall is placed between this one is the one firewall is this is the firewall. Okay, firewall one, and here we have a firewall two. So one firewall is placed between the corporate network and this demilitarized zone and it blocks the unauthorized traffic from business side from reaching to the control network or shared device like Historians. And the second firewall is placed between the DMZ and the control network. So it ensures that even if the server is compromised, the control network remains protected. So here, even it is possible that even if the the DMZ is compromised and upper network, the control network remains protected. And why? Because the rules for the first firewall and the second firewall can be quite different. More stringent requirements can be here. So this dual appeared, or the dual firewall setup creates a more secure and isolated DMZ zones, and it is ideal for hosting shared devices safely. Okay, so here I would like to write few points. The dual firewall setup creates a more secure and isolated DMZ zone, and it is ideal for hosting shared services safely. Okay. Okay, so the next thing is, right, so this is the last slide in this video. Now let's look at a more advanced firewall design using both the demilitarized zone, like this historian, and VLAN. So we have here VLAN also. You can see that we have a VLAN, PLC and DCS VLAN here. VLAN. So in many control systems, not all parts need to talk to each other. So for example, the SCADA might not need to communicate with every PLC or a DCS cell. So we need to divide the network into VLAN, virtual LANs. So here we have divided in virtual LANs. We have one with the PLC and we have one with the DCS, right? And each VLAN can represent a functional area. So basically this is one functional area. This PLC may be controlling one functional area, and this DCS is already controlling another functional area. Okay, and each VLAN can represent a functional area, and their communication can be filtered using the layer 2. So this is, we have a layer 2 switch, layer 2, we have a layer 3 switch, we have a layer 2 switch, and the DMZ is still used here for the shared resources, and the firewall controls the traffic between the corporate and the DMZs. So this setup, what is the benefit of this setup? This setup improves segmentation, and it reduces risk of spreading. This is important. Apologies again. Is spreading unwanted traffic. This is very important across the control network. Okay, so in this setup, this setup improves the segmentation and reduces the risk of spreading unwanted traffic across the control network. So I will stop this video here, and the last video, the next video will be last video on this topic of the cybersecurity. After that, we will talk about the analytics. Thank you very much.